Welcome back to part 6, where today we're going to be talking about strategy. And today I'm joined by our children, Rocky, Karis, and Ania. And so we're going to talk about strategy a little bit today. And what we're going to talk about is we talked about vision yesterday, and today we're going to be talking about strategy. And basically we want to look at, vision is very important. Vision without strategy is called dreaming. So you have to be a visionary. You have to really know what you were doing and what we were talking about yesterday, but the strategy has to be there too. The strategy can't come first before the vision. Most people will rely first on the strategy. They'll go to the plan. They'll look at goal setting. They'll look at doing all that before first clarifying what their vision is. Or what we talked about is having the vision first. So today we're going to talk more specifically about the strategy. And typically you want to look at it, and you'll look at people and you'll know people, specific visionaries or specific strategists. And really for the most part, we want to blend the two together. Just a strategist or just a visionary typically, will have some difficulties goal setting because one without the other does not work. You need both in place, and the vision has to come first before the strategy. And typically when someone has a vision without a strategy, it's usually associated with perfectionism, procrastination, and what we typically would call a dreamer. But when we actually look at strategies, the strategy is the actual goal itself, setting a goal, being being very, very, what we're going to talk about, specific goal setting. And when we do specific goal settings, it has to be specific, clear, and constant. If we set proper goals, we'll be able to channel our effort, we'll be able to boost our motivation, and we'll be able to enhance performance, but most importantly, we'll be able to refine the strategy more clearly. And so what we have is we already have our vision in place. Now we need to set our strategy. So our proper goal setting or our strategy, we can sum it up in an acronym, SCAMPy. So we're going to talk about SCAMPy today. How, now that we know where we want to go, now the GPS device is going to set in. Now that GPS is going to be able to help guide us there. This is where the strategy comes into play. This is where the plans takes shape. And now we want to be more specific with those goals, the SCAMPy. So the first part of SCAMPy is the S, which means specific. Our goals, when we set our goals, now that we know where we're going, they should be specific. We should be precise, and we definitely want to look at general versus specific. A general goal is, well, I think I want to lose weight. Specific goals are, I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 months, or I want to lose 10 pounds in 2 months, and which can be broken down to 5 pounds in a month or a little over a pound a week. And okay, I'm gonna let the kids down there. All right, guys, go in the other room. Say goodbye, kids. Bye, kids. Okay. So we talked about the S in SCAMPy, which is specific. Now we want to talk about the C, which is challenging. Not only should your goals be specific, but they should also be challenging. And really the biggest reason why people don't set challenging goals, or why they don't reach for the stars, or why they don't really try to be aggressive with their goals, it usually comes down to two things. It's either, number one, not knowing what they're capable of. So if you want to set a big goal, if you want to try to something that's very, very challenging, but you're not even aware of what you're capable of, you're going to set your standards too low. And so kind of knowing what you're capable of is going to give you the opportunity and ability to be able to set more challenging and specific goals. And then also, the other reason why people don't set challenging goals is because they're usually fear failure. If you don't believe that you're going to accomplish things, if you feel like you're going to fail at something, typically you will not set more challenging goals because you're that pain of failing, you don't want to go through it again, so you will set your standards low. So even if you don't know what you're capable of, or you're fearing failure, your goals will be less challenging, although you could have accomplished something that is more challenging. And then the A in Scampi stands for approach. It's the negative versus positive outlook. You have a choice when you set goals. You have a choice when you try to accomplish something. You can be positive about it, or you can be negative about it. If you're positive about it, you believe that you're going to accomplish it. And if you're negative about it, you've already failed before you even started. So the approach, the mindset that you have, how you're approaching that situation is very, very important. The M in Scampi stands for measurable. I guess what we want to look at is, how do you know if the strategy is working? If you're not measuring your progress, how do you know? I was meeting with a client tonight, and she's like, geez, I feel like I'm getting heavier, I'm getting fatter, I don't think this is working. And we checked her progress, and she dropped like 2.5% body fat, inch in her waist, a little bit in her hips. And the whole thing is if you go off emotion, if you're going off of emotion and how you feel, you are going to set yourself up for failure and disappointment, because you may not feel that you're doing well. So there has to be very clear ways to measure your progress, to measure these goals that you're setting, so you know if the strategy is actually working. The P in Scampi stands for proximal. We need to have both long and short-term goals. It's great to have long-term goals. It's great to want to lose 100 pounds. We also need to break that into shorter segments too, because if we get into long-term goals, we typically will just see this big thing that's out there. We'll see, wow, I've got to lose this amount in this long time, where if okay, I need to lose 100 pounds, but that's going to break down to roughly about 8 pounds a month, which is roughly 2 pounds a week. Then not only do you know that long term that you have to lose 100 pounds, but you know that 2 pounds a week. So you can start charting goals, you can start charting your progress, and you can start seeing whether or not you're ahead or behind progress. And then finally, your goals need to be inspirational. You need to be inspired, you need to be passionate about what you're doing. If you are, as we talked about previously, if there's passion and purpose behind what you're doing, you're going to be excited. So if you're inspired and passionate, that's going to help all that strategy come together. And what we talk about a lot is you have to fall in love with fitness. You really have to fall in love with doing it, because if you love doing it, if you find a way to really love going to the gym and love the process, it's not going to seem like work at all to you. You're just naturally going to do it because you love doing it. So think about Scampi. Think about your goals being specific, challenging, the approach that you take, how measurable your goals are, how proximal they are, and how inspirational they are. Just keep in mind that the vision has to come first. You have to know where you're going, and once you know where you're going, then you implement the strategy, and you then set your goals appropriately, and you're going to be well on your way. Thank you for joining us today, and tomorrow we're going to be talking about our next subject, so I look forward to seeing you then.
Something's wrong, I'll shelter you and keep you warm. I'll never let you walk alone.